Hey guys, what's up, Neverwinter fans? Okay, well, we're back for the last 2x RP event. Looks like they're going to a point-based system, so you can refine items, even green items, and get RP points, but they will no longer be doing the 2x events, which I think is okay. It'll save up some inventory space so you won't have to hoard for these events, and prices won't fluctuate quite as much for the casual player. As you probably know, the prices start to spike a couple weeks out from an event, and then they get extraordinarily high for the first couple of days of an event, and it's a timing thing. If you have a real life and have other things to do, it can be a little frustrating to level your equipment up by having to wait for those special events. But right now, I happen to have some of my alternate characters that I put to work with the leadership profession, and right now I want to open up some of these thaumaturgic bags. I have different characters that make different items within the leadership profession, but I just make these to purely sell off during these events. Usually it's best to do this leading up to it or the first day of it because you get the most money before prices start to level off and drop off a little bit. But I don't really care. I just kind of do it as I can. I also like to wait for these events in case I have certain items that come up that I've been keeping my eye on that I might want to refine up. I like to be able to take advantage of the max refining event in order to do that, so I won't have to worry about that anymore, which is nice. So I get to get a lot more inventory holes, which make me happy, keep me from having to switch things around so much and having to hoard so much. So here we go. Let's open some of these up and see what kind of value we're getting there. Now run through some of the different characters that I have. One thing I do with these, I use these stones as I'm developing these characters. And what I'll do, if you look at my profession assets, this guy I use primarily for chemicals, but the bottom 3 slots I use for leadership, and the top 6 I use for chemical stuff that I also sell and sometimes use for my different alternate characters, but this guy with a little bit on leadership. But what I'll do when I'm first starting a new alternate character, I'll start to use the money that I get from these to buy. I usually just go to blue on these because the price isn't too bad. I'll show you what I mean. Like I'll do this with whatever profession I'm specializing in, but I'll usually go to the rare quality, and then I'll grab one of those blue adventurers. And what it does, it cuts down on the production time by 25%, which is nice. It's not terribly expensive, but they do add up over time. It can save a good bit of time that way. As if you get time to check in a couple times a day, you can get your stuff refined. Usually flip it a couple times in a day, which is really sweet. But I do that for all of my alternate characters. They eventually end up with all blue. And I like to do it quick. I like to just kind of get in and out. A lot of times when you're refining something, you can add a second guy to a slot to further increase the speed. I usually just take the first one I have and go with it. If you go to Epic, I mean, the price really jumps to 70,000. That gives you a 50% bonus speed. I mean, if you have the Astral Diamonds, by all means go for it. I usually just go to rare because I use my Astral Diamonds that are hard went through grinding for other things. But I found usually, if I can hit it early in the day and when I'm starting my day and at the end of the day, that's more than enough to be in and out of professions. Make sure, especially that those resonance stones get done because they take 16 hours to do. If you're not using a rare or epic level, you can see there it says 16 hours. You cut that down to about 12. That lets you hit it twice lets me hit it twice without any problem. So there's that little tidbit on these. Now let's go ahead and throw some of these up on the auction house. And there we go. There's about a little better than 42,000 Astral Diamonds real quick, just for a little extra clicking on one character. So we'll go to the next one, get him up too. Okay, this guy has 350 of these. Let's go ahead and pop these off. Oh, nice. Got a few blues in there. You can see how these really stack up. I mean, I just had these since the last refining period. Of course, that'll change now, but I probably still group them together like this when I go to sell it. And probably the only thing I'll need to do is time it for a weekend instead of early in the week to get a little bit of a better price out of these. Now, another thing with batching them like this, you're kind of competing against yourself throwing these up. So normally if you do it the old way leading up to an event, you could stagger them a little bit. That way you're not competing with yourself on the auction house. I just want to get rid of these right now to get them out of my inventory. And if you really are patient with it, which you can do, obviously, you probably know this, but I'll show you. Check the prices on it, and you can drop it down just a little bit to undercut, so you're first in line to get these sold if you're in a real hurry for the money. You know, knock 500 or even 1,000 off in a small stack like this, and it'll go really quick. I just don't care really. Real high-priced items, I usually double check it to make sure there's not an error in the auction house. People sometimes will accidentally throw things up there and only get half the amount, which is a little bit too much. I mean, there are some obvious mistakes people make when they're putting them up. It's a great way to buy it, but it can be very painful if you don't pay attention, especially, you know, you get anything over 100,000 Astral Diamonds. Double check the price, make sure there's isn't something wrong with the system, and you're being shortchanged by a lot due to a mistake. And on to this guy, the third one. Okay, there we have this character. Got some greens, got some blues, have some commons. So I got about 80,000 for this guy. And believe it or not, if you haven't done this before, they will sell. Sometimes you have to pull it and put it back up again, but they will definitely sell. And I used 4 guys to create this particular stone. And this one has almost 400. If you're wondering why they have different amounts, sometimes I don't have time to get into all the characters to do these, so I'm often in a hurry, so I'll get in and out. Maybe I'll just get to hit 2 or 3 of them before I have to get on with my day, so one doesn't get quite as many as the other. My Guardian Fighter, I just got him high enough to where he's able to create these stones, so that's why he had only like what was it, like 120. Again, I know it's not smart because I'm competing against myself to keep putting these up together with all of my alts, but I just really don't care. It's a little bit of a chore and a task. I just want to get it done so I can move on. Oops, don't want to discard that. I have a mouse that's going on the air. So guys, that's a quick way to make about 450,000 Astral Diamonds just using my alternate character, even if I did nothing else with them except that. That's a nice way to go. So happy times making Astral Diamonds, guys. If you've never done it, it's a good reason to level up your leadership profession. And thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe.